Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm coming to you from a rainy day in Tokyo, and today is the day I leave after a week of fun. I've had such a wonderful time here. You can check those vlogs. You can also check the flight review of the ANA The Room Business Class that I flew to get to Tokyo. But today we are also flying something very exciting. Today we are flying Japan Airlines First Class. I have flown Japan Airlines Business Class twice, actually before all the COVID stuff happened. But I've never flown Japan Airlines First Class. So I'm completely and utterly so excited about it. And I guess all there is to do is to head to the airport. So let's go. So after a completely lovely and peaceful taxi ride, only my second in Japan, I arrived at Haneda Airport Terminal 3. It was a little difficult to find the first class check-in for Japan Airlines as it was on the other side of check-in from all the other passengers, but I eventually found it, complete with this beautiful Christmas tree. I checked my three bags, cleared security, and headed for the lounge. I'll say I got a little lost at first. This sign makes it look like the first class lounge is up this escalator, but once I got up there, I was told by the flight attendant that this was more a satellite lounge and I should head to the proper first class lounge further down the terminal, and so I headed down there. The Japan Airlines First Class Lounge is really a beautiful space. The chef is visible as they're creating meals, and there's a long bar with a pretty extensive selection of drinks, including beer and wine dispensers. They also keep iced coffee in the fridge, which I appreciate so that I don't have to mess around with a hot coffee maker and a cup full of ice. There is also a small selection of canapes at the bar. Each seat at the Japan Airlines First Class Lounge has a QR code, which brings you to a website for the lounge. And from here, you can book a shower room during your stay, as well as order meals from a menu. I loved this. It felt like much more elevated than a standard buffet. My first order was the Japanese meal set with rice, miso soup, spicy seasoned cod roe, a rolled omelet, and mackerel misoni. I also got the sushi surote. Both the dishes were delicious, especially the miso soup and the rolled omelets, which are a favorite of mine. For my second order, I chose shrimp with chili sauce as well as the custard apple pie. I loved the shrimp dish, though it could have used a bit more texture, but by far my favorite food in the lounge was the custard apple pie. The flavors were delicious and perfect for the cold rainy day in Tokyo. Before heading to the gate, I checked out the Red Suite, which is towards the back of the lounge and houses memorabilia from Japan Airlines' history. If you aren't going to eat in the lounge or you have time but after you've finished eating, I absolutely recommend checking out the space. It was tranquil and cozy, and something I really wasn't expecting in a busy first class lounge. This bathroom is huge and gorgeous. Look at this. These little like makeup rooms. Then it was time to head to the gate to board my flight back home to New York. After I headed down the designated first class jet bridge, I went to find my seat. Japan Airlines features only 8 seats in its spacious first class, with every seat having aisle access. I will also say, as an aside, I love how the website tried to warn me when I was checking in for my flight that my seat did not have a movable armrest and was therefore the least preferred. Thanks for the concern, Japan Airlines, but I think I'll survive in my first class seat, even without a movable armrest. I chose seat 2K, a window seat on the right side of the plane. The seat is massive, more like a throne than an airplane seat, and the pod itself boasts a huge amount of space. The brown accents make it look classic, and there's plenty of storage space, something I wasn't expecting. I was a little bit worried about wear and tear as I flew to Japan in ANA's very new business class setup, and while there were some scuffs and whatever this was, the seat was comfortable and luxurious. I was also concerned about privacy too, as there's no door to your pod, but sitting back, I felt sufficiently hidden from other passengers. After settling in, it was time for takeoff. Once we were in the air, I snuggled up to take a look at the menu. I'm 5'7", and the only way I could put my feet on the footrest was to slide my seat forward, so if you're tall, there's definitely plenty of room. I decided to choose the Japanese menu, as well as take a peek at the a la carte menu, which I wanted to sample later in the flight. I want you to keep that in mind for later because we are going to come back to it. Though I had to lean out quite far to pull out the tray table, I did appreciate how easy it was to move about and exit while it was down, and so I took this opportunity to visit the first class bathroom. In the bathroom, it's very dark, but very luxurious looking, and it looks much bigger because of the mirrors here. It's surprisingly luxurious looking. And we have really fancy amenities here. Kodopo is super expensive. Also, straight up real towels in this one, so not paper towels, actual towels. Once I settled back in my chair, it was time to order a drink. Though there was an extensive wine and alcohol list, I've lately been preferring to order the non-alcoholic special drinks that Japanese airlines tend to serve. Here, it was a Skytime peach and grape mix, and the drink was delicious. While waiting for my food, I decided to check out the movie selection. The remote was stored to my right, and though there wasn't a huge selection of new movies, the choices were pretty serviceable. The Panasonic headphones given were, however, top-notch. And then my first course came, and let me apologize now because I have no idea what this was. It's not on the Japanese menu, it's not on the Western menu. Let me know in the comments if you know what this was. All I know is that it wasn't my favorite. The jelly consistency with the vegetables wasn't for me. Next came the 5 seasonal delicacies, which I'll list here. To be honest, while I appreciated how each one was plated and how unique they were, I found most of them kind of bland and sort of textureless. My favorite of the bunch was the prime taro and garland chrysanthemum with mullet roe, and my least favorite was the blowfish milt. Next came the soup, a scallop dumpling, white radish, Kyoto carrot, meat soup, herb soup, and this was pretty good. I definitely was a fan of the unique scallop dumpling. The sashimi tray followed soon after. To my left was ise lobster, lobster innards, and canola blossom covered with lobster broth, and on the right was a white sesame tofu topped with wasabi, thickened soy sauce, and yes, caviar. I definitely enjoyed the lobster dish, but while I do enjoy caviar, I found the wasabi overpowering and the sesame tofu just okay. If you notice, a lot of these small dishes were either a jelly-like texture or had some sort of broth, and maybe I'm just uncultured, but I found myself longing for a bit of bite or texture. Luckily, I found that in the main dish, the free-range duck from Yamagata Prefecture with bamboo shoot and green onion, which was served with steamed rice, miso soup, and pickles. If you couldn't tell by now, I was becoming exhausted just from eating. But the duck was flavorful and had some actual texture to it, and was definitely my favorite of the meal service so far. However, the star of the meal service, for me at least, was the dessert, which featured strawberry ice cream with rum jelly and roasted pine nuts, as well as matcha flavored arrowroot cake. Although the strawberry ice cream was still a little bit frozen, these were the brightest flavors of the entire meal service and were definitely the best tasting. The strawberry sundae especially felt really elevated. After that exhausting lunch, I was given a pair of pajamas to change into while the flight attendants made my seat into a bed. I appreciated the step in the bathroom so as not to touch my socks to the actual bathroom floor. I was given a medium pajama set, and while the pants fit a bit tighter, the top itself ran pretty large. When I returned to my now mattress-padded first class seat, the flight attendant took the clothing I arrived in for safekeeping while I slept and gave me a Clos de Peau face mask. A set of these masks cost $160, so I was thankful for the luxurious amenity and decided to save it for a special occasion. I then settled in, hoping for a nice nap. If you've watched my flight reviews before, then you know I can't really sleep on planes all that well. I did get about 2 hours, but woke up happy with about 6 hours to go because it was time to order food a la carte, something I'd been looking forward to since booking this flight. I clicked the menu tab and was ready to order, but then tragedy struck. I decided it was maybe a fluke and decided to watch a movie and try again afterwards. An hour and a half later, I tried again. Frustrated, but thinking the flight attendants were probably resting, I decided to watch another film and try again later. After the movie, and with only 2.5 hours to go until the end of the flight, I tried once more. At this point, I decided to get up and ask the flight attendants if there really was no opportunity to order a la carte on this flight. I was then told that unfortunately the system wasn't working, but it was possible to order through them. I was happy to order, but I've got to admit I was disappointed as I wanted to try a few things and space them out through the rest of the flight. I did have the opportunity to order 2 things, the Janwake fried chicken over rice, which as you might be able to see was not that crispy and disappointingly just not that good, and the Japan Airlines special chicken soba noodle, which I actually really enjoyed. When the cabin lights were brightened, I changed back into my arrival clothes and was gifted the pajamas in a bag, along with a very fancy-looking chocolate. As I was given this amenity, I realized I'd never explored the amenity kit. The kits themselves were furnished by luxury suitcase brand Zero Halliburton and featured L'Occitane Lush L'Occitane hand cream, a moisture mask, a small pack of tissues, an eye mask, earplugs, mouthwash, a toothbrush, a comb and brush in one, L'Occitane lip balm, as well as the steam eye mask, which is a pretty popular thing in Japan. Also as an amenity, but not in the kit, was a complimentary in-flight Wi-Fi card, which did work well during the flight, though I opted to watch movies, eat, and sleep instead. I made sure just before landing to ask for an iced coffee, and I finished it just before we began our descent into New York. And now for how I booked it. Now, you've heard me sing the praises in 2 videos now of easily booking Japan Airlines first or business class with American Airlines miles right on the website, but this time I decided to do things a little differently. While it costs 80,000 American Airlines miles to fly Japan Airlines first class, it only costs 70,000 Alaska Airlines miles, an amount which I happen to have from a previous credit card bonus. It does cost just a bit more in taxes and fees with Alaska's Partner Award booking fee, but the process of booking online is just as easy as American Airlines, so if you happen to have Alaska miles lying around, this is a great option. And so for this flight from Tokyo to New York, I paid 70,000 Alaska Airlines miles and $58.38 in taxes and fees. And for those of you that love to know how much it would have cost out of pocket, this particular flight retailed for $14,387. Now, would I fly Japan Airlines first class again? Absolutely. The seat was amazing, the service impeccable, and the lounge from Haneda Airport was stellar. Though I was disappointed with the food on board as well as the a la carte food service, I still think this is a fantastic experience, and especially for 70,000 miles and $58.38. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!